So yin and yang. The darkness is the light. The light is completely dark. I mean, anybody can come out with that kind of shit, can't they? It's lovely to see the sun, though. Oh, we are creatures who love a bit of light, aren't we? Makes me think of Gollum, living in the dark. So somehow, I've no idea how, it's doubtless that there is only what seems to be going on. Now that sounds like I know that there's only what seems to be going on, but that's not what I mean. I mean, there actually is only what seems to be going on. That's what I mean. I don't know that. You don't need to know that. There is only what seems to be happening. And it is incredible that not knowing what's going on, not doubting that no one knows what's going on, is a strange kind of liberation. It's a freedom, but it's not for me. I haven't gained anything. You can't gain anything. There is only what there is. Isn't there? I mean, that is the whole of non-duality. I mean, it's shit, really. There's no wonder it's not popular, because there is no, when I say there's nothing to gain, it's absolute. You know, because self will just go, I get that there's not really any enlightenment or awakening or liberation. I get that, but there must be some benefit for me. I'm going to get something out of it, aren't I? No. There is nothing to be had. So the only thing that seems to be had is loss. It seems to be the gain is in the losing. But it's very obvious that that's just another story. That's all story. There is nothing that's lost or gained. It really comes from the undoubted, I don't know what word to use. Seeing, knowing is definitely the wrong word. Recognition that there isn't anything else. And it's not that there is this, there just isn't anything else. So you don't get this. No one gets this. No one's ever got this. There is no this to get. And I'll contradict myself straight away and say that's what's gained. The gain is the loss of the possibility of
Tim's frozen. Don't know whether you can hear us, Tim, but you've frozen. I did think when he logged in earlier that his internet looked a little bit weak, so I'll just give him a buzz and see. Has he frozen for everyone else? Yeah.
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 Yeah, I might do that. Let me just see if I can just unmute.
I think you are unmuted.
Oh, so technically gifted. Sorry about that. What a crock of shit. Oh, my laptop's now told me in very bold, no nonsense, your network bandwidth is very low. You're telling me? Okay, let's see how it goes. If I disappear again, then I'll try on my phone. Well, it's nice to be here anyway, even if I'm coming and going. I know there's a problem with saying there's nothing to get, because there's nothing to get sounds like nothing is something to get. And I was seeking nothing for fucking years. I mean, is there anything more? It's tragic. I mean, seeking something is tragic, but at least there's something to seek. Seeking nothing, really, well, that is. Because, of course, when you do find it, it doesn't look like anything. It looks strangely like everything. So when I say there's nothing to find, I do mean that. I don't mean other than nothing, which you could find. So I didn't find nothing. And I'm not suggesting you find nothing. There's nothing to find.
Can I say something, Tim?
Hi, Jess.
Hi.
Yeah, sure, Guy. It just seems like I haven't got much to say, Jess. Yeah.
Okay, so the last like couple of weeks, it's been like there's like death around me, you know, like everybody has cancer and someone's sick and just everywhere. Like I turn, there's something medically wrong with someone close to me.
Right.
And I started to feel something in my throat, and I'm a smoker, and I was like, oh my God, I have lung cancer. I have like my back hurts, it's my lungs. You know, I started to think something is wrong with me.
Yeah.
And I was sitting in the parking lot before seeing one of my clients, and I was Googling all the symptoms, and you know, Google will tell you you should have died yesterday.
Oh,
And I was
I mean, Google is a wonder, but when you, but for a hypochondriac, Google is singly, and of course we're all to a degree hypochondriacs. Google,
yeah, Google's not a good idea.
Google is a nightmare, isn't it?
It's a nightmare. So I'm sitting there right before I'm meeting a client, and I'm Googling and I'm looking for symptoms and I'm doing all this stuff. And usually, if that was to happen before I see a client, I would have had like a panic attack, you know? But it was happening and there was no fear behind it. And it was for nobody. And it was still happening. And I was looking up symptoms and reading about it and going about it as I would, but there was no fear behind what was happening. I wasn't worried that I was going to have an anxiety attack before I go see the client because I was 2 minutes away. And oh no, I shouldn't read this stuff before I go see the client because then I'm going to not be in a good headspace, or it was just happening for no one. And it was just like, oh my God, like the same shit happens. It's the same shit. It's the same, nothing really changed. The same shit happens. It's still happening.
Yeah.
It's not like magically the world still goes on. I mean, the same way that it would, it's just lighter. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but
No, you've explained it well.
so the only thing is that I don't feel that way all the time. I don't feel, I don't really know if I feel that way all the time, or maybe that was just clear. I don't know. I really don't know.
No.
But it was I realized that, like, wow, I'm not scared of what I'm looking at. And wow, I'm not concerned about being in the right headspace right 5 seconds before I see my client, which I would be like, okay, give me some time. I shouldn't look at it right now. Let me do it at night when I'm by myself. You know, like those kind of things didn't happen. But I was still concerned about my well-being, but it wasn't my well-being. It was just it was just concerning concerns.
Yeah.
But see, my question is, I don't feel like that all the time. It doesn't always feel like it's what's happening. I do feel personal at times.
Yeah.
And I do you feel personal at times, or you just, it's always what's happening?
Well, if it feels personal, that's what's happening, isn't it? I mean,
Oh my
for
God.
fuck's sake, it is that simple. You know, this whole notion that I can, right. What does self say? Self says, I know the difference between personal and impersonal. So I know when it feels, I know when it feels like it's happening to me, and I know when it feels like it's not happening for anyone.
Yeah.
Well, I don't agree. I don't think anyone knows that. There is a story around it. There is a story that, okay, this is really happening to me. And there can be I'm not denying that there can't be a bodily felt sense of it's really happening to me as well. It can feel somatic, bodily. But I mean, if that's what's if it feels that way, that is what's happening. That's what seems to be happening. It seems to be happening to me. It's no different, and it seems to be happening for no one, is it? It's how it seems to be.
It feels different. There's like a body feeling.
Yeah. No, I do. I mean, I think there's a myth around non-dualities generally, that what is being spoken of is this shift in perception, or this shift in how the world and life is experienced. I don't think that's essentially what's being spoken about, because that can only be, okay, it used to be like this and now it's like this. Well, I don't know how it is. That's what's being spoken of. The illusion is that you know. So it's just as illusory to say it's happening for no one as it is that it's happening for me. That's just how it seems to be. Then one is not a greater illusion than another. You could say it's all illusory, all of it, in the sense that it's just a story about what's happening. It's not what's happening. No one knows what's happening. You can say whatever you like about it. No one's closer or further away. That's, for me, that's the freedom and the unconditional love that I'm speaking of. I don't have any doubt that no one knows more about this than anyone else. Nor have they ever. So I don't care who your heroes are. I don't care who you think are the greatest enlightened beings. I couldn't give a shit.
So
I don't mean you, I just meant generally.
I didn't hear you. What would you say?
But you know, so why?
didn't
So you're in. So in the story of jazz at the moment, there is going from sometimes, occasionally, like that. You know, when you were Googling, and there was a sense of, oh, this is what's happening is happening for no one, and then at other times it's really happening to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these are glimpses I keep getting. These are just glimpses. So I'm still in the story. I'm still.
No. There's no one. There's no one in the story.
Fuck. You just.
There's just a story. I mean, you're telling that story. The story you're telling us today is that story. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's no different from anyone who speaks about this. Anyone who speaks about this is just telling another story. There's no escape. There is, and the thing is, the story of being a seeker is it will come to a conclusion, this story. And in the conclusion, there will only be, and then you add your own gloss of what you hope the nirvana, the event, the happily ever after, the ending is fucking fairy tales, we tell ourselves. That's all. And enlightenment, you could say, is the ultimate fairy tale. This is not a fairy tale. This is not a fairy tale. But every story, everything you say about it is. So I'm not saying, I'm not saying you're wrong, Jazz. I'm saying there isn't anyone who's right, and there isn't a conclusion. So the sense of where you're in your story at the moment is that you've had glimpses and you've had it, and then it's been lost again. And all I want to say to you is there is nothing to be had. You didn't have it. It wasn't glimpsed.
What?
It wasn't glimpsed. There isn't anything to glimpse.
Then what was that? What is that? Why does it keep happening?
Was it? I mean, or you can, whatever you want to say.
I'm pissed off. I feel
there'll be plenty of people who will want to give you an answer about why that happens and how it happens. I mean, I just don't have any. Well, I just know I don't know. I just don't doubt that I don't know. I haven't got a clue. I haven't got a clue how anything happens. The only liberation is from the terrible bondage of the desire, and the possibility. I now have a doubtless uncertainty, which is the doubtless is I don't doubt that no one knows how any fucking thing happens. I don't doubt that at all. So I never ask anyone, including myself. I don't ask anyone why anything happens or how anything happens. Don't ask me how that fucking happened. I don't know. but the liberation is from the questioning.
Yeah.
This is unquestionably as it is. And that includes, okay, I've had a sense that this isn't happening to anyone. Lovely. And then the next hour you get home and you go, oh, now it feels like it's happening to me again. I mean, really, big fucking deal. Seriously, the thing is, what do I do? I'm making a real song and dance about that.
But I don't even know I'm doing, like, I don't even know.
No, it's absolutely, no, I'm not saying you could choose to do other or do it. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying there isn't anything in it. So really, this is just how it was for me. I would be looking for someone to affirm that I'm getting closer, or yes, it was a real glimpse, or yes, it was
Yeah.
It was an authentic awakening experience. Fuck off. Who's in a position to tell you whether that's an authentic awakening experience or not, and whether it's, you know, and oh, you're in a coming and going, a meing and being. What other bullshit stories people want to tell? There's none of that. There are stories about that, but there isn't. There is just this. This being is complete. So it includes, you know, the meing isn't any less than the being. Whether it's me being or no one being, it's just a story. One is not more, one's not closer than the other.
Yeah, it's the same. It's all together.
I
know, I'm just fucked up. I'm just, you know.
Yeah, no, I get that. Oh, I can't tell you. The reason I'm passionate about it is I know how much time I spent on such fucking, I mean, I had.
No, I love it. Thank you. I mean, I feel like
it just doesn't mean any, you know, you're asking kind of, I was always looking for someone wiser and
yeah.
and more experienced than me to sort of validate my experience. Well, there is no one to validate your experience at all, including yourself. I mean, it's no good. All I want to say to everyone is it's no good looking to anyone else to validate. It's fucking worthless. No one can validate what you call your experience.
Gosh, this thing is like a complete fucking annihilation of life.
Yeah, but
it's like I can't. It just keeps happening.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know that. Like, you know, it's like you wake me up. Like, oh shit, you know, what am I doing? Why am I asking the same shit? You know, like
yeah,
that was, you know, that was me feeling that there was no me again, and it's like, what? Like I can't even.
The only one who can say that, you know, there's no me is me, obviously.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. The great. I mean, the wonderfully good news is there is nothing to you. I mean, none of it means anything. It only means what you say it means, or you tell someone else, and they'll tell you what they think it means. That's all. That's the entirety of meaning. I mean, that's liberating. That's immeasurably freeing. That all meaning, there is no intrinsic meaning in life at all. And that's what, so I was looking for what life really meant, you know, purpose and significance, and you know, what is it really all about? The big questions. Well, the big questions are just big questions. And the answers are all empty. Doesn't matter what anyone says. They're not wrong and they're not right. And that neutrality of everyone's opinion, when everything, that meaning is only an opinion, that's wonderful. Somebody, you know, another human being tells you what they think life means and what's the purpose and what's significant and important, what matters. And you can just nod and go, oh yeah, I can see that's really what matters to you. And that's all that it is. There's nothing, and it's never anything else. I don't know how, but it can be very obvious, undoubtable, that life doesn't ask any questions.
Yeah.
Some, you know, just human beings. We love it.
Yeah.
We love the questioning.
Like when that thing was happening, when I was Googling, it was just wasn't personal. Just wasn't personal. I was looking to see if I was gonna die, but it wasn't personal. But I don't feel like things are not personal all the time.
No.
You know, and that's where my mind starts saying, oh, okay, you're not awakened because you're whatever, just all this bullshit. But when things don't feel personal, it's just lighter, and I don't know if I feel light all the time.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to deny it's immeasurably lighter. Yeah, of course. I'm very,
Obviously,
I'm very prone to totally contradict myself at any moment, and that's one right there. And of course, it is. Yeah, I don't think I would speak about this if life wasn't. I mean, there is an ease to life when it's not about me. I mean, when it's all about me, which for nearly every human being it is, it's very heavy. It's a burden.
So what's the problem with people asking like these questions on these non-dual, because they know that there's a difference. Like I know it's significantly lighter to be like that than to be like this.
Yeah, well, the problem with asking the questions is, though, it sounds as though you know, somebody can show you the way, and don't.
Yeah,
of course there are hundreds of people who'll be very happy to show you their way.
yeah,
I'm very happy to say there's no way.
yeah. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Tim. I just needed to let that out. That's
Oh,
all.
thanks, Jess. Yeah.
You're the best. Thank you.
Oh, no, thanks, Jess.
Andrew has his hand up.
Andrew, nice to see you.
You too, you too. Great meeting. I just, what is undoubtable, Tim?
Yeah, there you go. That's the, yeah, $1 million.
You're welcome. No, because you mentioned it's undoubtable. You also mentioned that it's all in it. I don't know. Do you mention that it's an illusion? Yeah.
No, the undoubtable is that I don't know what's undoubtable. When I say undoubtable, it's undoubtable that there's anything other than. But so I say this, but there isn't a this. So I can't tell you what it is that's undoubtable. But the doubtlessness is that there is an other than.
Okay. Yeah. No, I get
it.
And
that's so when I talk about doubtless uncertainty, I'm saying what's doubtless is that there is only what I could call this, which is what seems to be happening. You could say being, experiencing. There's various words that do resonate and feel okay to say. There's plenty that don't. I couldn't say awareness or consciousness because they're very abstract. Whereas what's happening isn't abstract. You just can't say what it is. It's you could say it's too direct. You know, the absolute immediacy that disappears as it appears. I mean, what are we going to call it? What are we going to say about it? How am I going to describe it to you? I've attempted to for the past 5 or 6 years is all I try and do, but I know it's fucking pointless. But the pointlessness of the attempts to describe what you've just asked me, you know, so what is that that's doubtless? That's you can say that's the mystery if you want, but it's not mysterious. I don't use the word mystery much. It's a mystery in that you won't solve it. But I don't like mystery because it sounds like it requires a solution, doesn't it? Well, this is insoluble. If this is all, then there's no solution because there needs to be something outside of it that could solve it. So I don't doubt, so that what's undoubtable, I don't doubt that there aren't any answers. I don't doubt that there's nothing else. I don't doubt that anyone could have more or less. I don't doubt that it's empty. The fullness of everything is completely empty. And when you ask how can that be doubtless, I have no idea. And if it is doubtless to you, to Andrew, if it's doubtless, I don't doubt that you would have no idea how it could possibly be doubtless. And the doubtlessness is the uncertainty. So it is this incredible paradox that not knowing is the doubtless. So the doubtlessness is in the uncertainty of knowing. So in fact, the doubtless that no one knows, that all certainty is illusory.
It's a good answer, Tim.
Well, for what it's worth, Andrew.
I'm landing on I'm landing on there is nothing else. I'm kind of landing on that as a belief now. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can, and I know lots of people who do have, you know, that now there's only now, and they have that as a belief system. That's not what I mean. I mean, it's not. It's regardless of whether you believe it or not. This is all beliefs. You know, there isn't anything that's not this. It's that simple, really. Because everyone wants to know what else there is. Well, there's nothing else. And really, what if you search? Any search is for something else, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're looking, if you're seeking what isn't. And then you hope to find it. Well, fucking good luck with that. I'm pretty sure there's no one who has found what isn't. No one has ever found something else. How the fuck could they? How could they? You know, it's a joke.
Lisa has a hand up.
Thanks, Andrew.
Cheers, Tim.
Keep coming back.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi. Maybe the problem is we have too many choices, you know? I think that could really be a problem because, I mean, I lived in Guatemala for, you know, some years.
Yeah.
It's like, if you don't have the choice, you just do what you do. I mean, it's, you know, but if you have a million choices.
Yeah. My friend is always talking about first world problems.
Right. It's like, which.
I mean, if your only thought is I must find food today to feed myself and my children, then yeah, life has a simplicity.
But then the white man comes and they're like, oh, you want this? No,
Well,
you want that.
I don't think he has to be white, but
No, no. But I'm just saying, like, you know, rich, they come and they say, well, there's something wrong, you're lacking, you know, you're.
Yeah, because somebody said to me, this is just for privileged white people, that, you know, non-duality, and seeking enlightenment in general is just for the privileged minority of human beings, while most are just trying to eke out survival. And to a degree, yeah, I can see that point. But then I'm pretty sure, regardless of how poor you are, then existential questions can still arise just the same. I don't think it's anything really to do with wealth.
I think it is breaking through the illusions, though, like, because I had this idea that people were supposed to get along, you know. That was like I thought, you know, if you're married to somebody, you should love, you know, whatever it should, but, and that's been my quest, like finding this other person, you know, and
Yeah.
it's like, it is depressing because like, I thought I tried to make people's lives easier, but you know, it's what I've found is that everybody has this agenda about who you are in their life. You know, it's like, well, and if I try to say, well, this is what I want, this is what I need, they're like, well, fuck you, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Who the hell do you think you are? You know, it's like, well, excuse me, but I just like did all this shit. But anyway, the point is like, I got to this point where, I mean, I was homeless. I got thrown out by this guy who decided he needed to have prostitutes, you know, whatever. He's like, I can't have prostitutes here while you're here. So this is my story, but I became homeless. Then I, you know, drove across country, miraculously got into this housing, but I mean, it was, I could say I chose that, I don't know. But what I find is what comes up is this incredible rage towards these people that just think they can just throw you out, you know, it's like, and it's, I guess what's different now is that now I just own that. I just own it. It's like, I'm pissed off at these men that have, you know, if you have somebody's kid and you say, well, that's not real, or that's not really happening, or, you know, and that's where I draw the line. And it's like, I'm here for me, you know, at this point, I'm here for me, you know, it's like, and I don't know, I've just, like, I'm not stupid, you know, but I grew up thinking I was stupid. I mean, because my father was like, thought we were all stupid, you know, and it was so, it's like you have all these fucking beliefs about who you are. And it's like this desperate search to be liked and loved, and
Yeah.
and it's like, I'm just to the point where if it's not helping me, I don't even want to, you know, everything's a distraction now. It's just like, what the fuck do you want, you know? I mean, but all I know is that if I don't fill out forms, if I don't go meet the government or whatever, I'm not going to get what I, you know, in other words, there's some things that are practical you have to do in life, you know, and that's what I learned in my 10 years of 12-step programs. There's a practical side to life that I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I got kicked to the curb, you know, it was like, it's like, how, you know, but anyway, it's a bit, whatever, it's a story. Yeah, it is, but it, you know, but I don't know. I just, this whole thing about people needing to get along and people needing to love each other and all this, it's just so unrealistic, you know. I don't know. It's like, I don't really get it. It confuses the hell out of me how the whole patriarchy works and capitalism and, you know, money and people trying to, you know, the whole business world is very confusing to me. Like, anyway, I just, I can barely stand these. I can barely stand looking at myself, but that's just my story. And like, I don't know, it upsets me that people are still struggling so much because it is so, it's just there. It's just, yeah, it's like, why are we still talking about this stuff, you know? Anyway.
That's okay, listen.
All right, I'm too emotional. I have to,
It's okay.
yeah, it's
Thanks.
not though. I'm gonna go, thank you.
Thanks, Lisa.
Tim, in chat, Dario asks, Tim, how do I stop seeking?
If the seeking stops, Stereo, it won't be you who stops seeking. I was going to say, the thought came that you can't stop seeking. You are the seeking. But that's just a story. But self is dissatisfied. Dissatisfaction to the point, I mean, that's by degrees from mild dissatisfaction to excruciating despair. You could say that's the nature of self, that feels incomplete, that feels separate and wants to become, desperately seeks wholeness, seeks completion, seeks to be okay, seeks an okayness with being. That's, I'm talking personally here. I just, most of my life, I didn't feel okay. Moments of okayness, lots of times of not enough, not good enough. And then quite a few times of really dreadfully awful, not just not good enough, but really pathetic, really faulty, really a piece of shit. Now, how does self stop doing that? Self is not going to stop doing that. That's kind of what, depending, not all selves, but the majority of selves, certainly spiritually and psychological seeking selves, seeking to make myself okay. You can't stop that. That's what you are. You are the sense of not okay, of what's faulty, what's missing. I'm still a process. I'm still in a state of becoming complete. I'm a work in progress, which you're not a work in progress. So I would really say you can't stop seeking. But if the seeking does stop, it'll be very obvious, I would say. Here it's very undoubted that I didn't stop seeking. You are the seeking. You are the illusion of not enough. You are the illusion that there's something else. You are the illusion of being separate from everything else. You are the illusion of being a tiny little part, vulnerable, insignificant, afraid, in this vast universe, which is completely untrue. There are no parts. There is nothing apart. And if there's nothing apart, then the seeking stops. What are you going to find if there's nothing apart? You won't find this, as this is already. There will be nothing to seek for, though, because the seeking for is always somewhere else apart from this. You can only seek that, and that only exists if you exist as this. So I am this, and everything else is that, and I found that wasn't it. So now I'm looking for that. I find that, that's not it. Now I'm looking for that. That will never be it. Because there is no that. All finding, whatever you say you found. So this is, I include all these, what you would call awakening experiences. I mean, how precious are you holding on to that? So I had that and then I lost that. Bullshit. You didn't have it. There's nothing to have. But what it does is it allows you still to be looking. Because what are you going to do if there is nothing to look for? What are you going to do? How do you think self is going to feel when there's nothing to do? Don't pretend that's what you want. completely without motivation, utterly, other than maybe food.
Razia has a hand up.
That was a long answer, Daria.
Mhm.
Hi, Razia, how are you?
Hi. I just wanted to thank you, Tim, and all the others. Basically, it was like sitting here and like being at school again, listening to everything. Somehow the myth started to fall away. It's like you hold on to these beliefs and don't want to let go, you know, because the beliefs are comforting. You want to believe that you're someone that you can make a difference in the world,
Yeah.
that you have a purpose. Yeah. And it's hard to let go of that. You want to be helpful. You want to be the one that changes the world.
Mhm.
I mean in a great big way, but I mean in some way.
Yeah.
Leave a part of yourself behind in a way. And yeah, I think the first myth that really fell away was the religion thing. I don't know. It was like, I was looking at religion and I said, I mean, there's so much of fear in it, you know? Why are they keep telling you that if you don't do this and you don't live like this, things will, you know,
Yeah.
that you are going to go to hell, or there's this karma thing that was in operation as well, like thinking about that if you didn't do this, then you're going to come back again, you know, and gradually all the myths started to fall away. And yeah, I could really identify with this lady that was crying, you know. You get to that stage where you start to cry because what are you going to do? Like, you know, and you're just totally lost. And then I used to come here and sit and listen to everyone talking. And somehow it was like there was a lesson in every, I don't know, like maybe I mean, how do you look for purpose, right? But there's something that everyone said that somehow struck a chord here, you know? And that was so beautiful. It makes you like give up on the myth started to fall faster.
Thanks,
First,
Razia.
all the superstitious ones, you know, don't walk on the ladder if you see a black cat, kind of a thing. But yeah, just amazing. And I mean, all you can say is gratitude to whom, you know, gratitude to whom, because it's me talking, and every voice that I hear, it's my voice. It's my voice, you know, and it's me looking at me and loving me, and I, you know, so yeah, so
Thanks.
beautiful. Thank you.
Thanks, Roger. I'm just going to talk to these
Catherine. Yeah.
two very badly behaved children at the back of the class who, I don't know, they've been just atrocious behavior. Catherine, what have you got to say for yourself? What have you? What's the crocodile got to say for himself?
Come on, it's
So,
Anita.
yeah,
Wanted to speak.
So we found something real.
Oh, real mayonnaise, of course.
Real.
I mean, no one wants that unreal mayonnaise, do they?
And it's not light.
No, absolutely. No, I do make sure when I buy mayonnaise, it says real on the front. I hate that imaginary mayonnaise.
Made with free orange eggs.
Free range, orange.
Orange eggs.
We're having a lot of sun as well here.
I can see that. Would anyone else like to ask anything? I'll go on a little bit longer because I missed a few minutes.
I was thinking earlier, Tim, when I think it was Jazz, she was talking about, you know, that there's a bodily sensation of me. I don't know whether there is really. I think there's just sort of a conviction that everything that's happening that feels like you, what's happening to you, is that I don't, because I just don't see that at all. I've heard other speakers talk about that sort of bodily, you know, that it's sort of held in the body or it's in the, but I just don't feel like that.
You see, I could say yes and no, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to a degree, I would say, when self feels really, there you go. I mean, when I take emotion personally, fear would be a good example. When I'm really afraid, neurotic fear, very afraid for myself, that feels very embodied, and it feels very much like my fear. So yeah, I kind of get what people say when they say, and I've said it. I've said, when people say, "What do you mean by me?" I've said a bodily felt sense of being. It's not just a psychological sense. You know, it's not just a. It's not just a thought. It's felt. I feel it that is inside. The sense of being inside. And the sense of I know myself, I can see myself, self-consciousness. Yeah.
And I'd agree with that. A sense of
you know, I can, so I have the sense of I can be seen by you. That's I think for a lot of selves, that's the most painful aspect of being me. The most painful aspect of being me is that others can see me, which of course they can't. Isn't it wonderful? I mean, what that's worth, that alone is worth speaking about. No one has ever seen you. Now, it is tragic, because if you've wanted to be seen, because self does want to be seen, but it wants to be seen in the light that it wants to be seen in, you know, and then it wants to hide the parts of itself that I don't want you to see. And I mean, it's for most selves, that's a huge burden, trying constantly to show myself in the best light. Well, I've got some amazing news on that. Nobody can see the light or the dark. No one can see the good or the evil or the shadow self. You know, it's all bullshit. No one's ever seen you, including yourself. There's nothing to see. You are, I mean, in a very real way, and it can feel, this might feel visceral, that if this becomes obvious that the whole sense of self is illusory, then there can be a sense of invisibility. No one can see you. Because of course, that isn't anything new. No one's ever seen you. You are invisible. You're more than invisible. You're non-existent. Totally. I don't mean the body. I mean you. So when people say, you know, I know you, they know your physical appearance, they know some of your behavior patterns, your mannerisms, your likes and dislikes, and then they say they know you. And by the way, that's exactly what you say about yourself. You say you know yourself because you know those things too. So you don't know yourself either. You've never seen yourself. It's not just others. Who the fuck would it be that saw yourself? It would have to be another self. So immediately you've got two. All those conversations you've had with yourself, how many selves are there? It's funny. I mean, if you really start to look at it, you can only laugh, really, at how ludicrous the whole notion of self is.
And the certainty of it is just so
Oh,
certain.
it becomes absolutely amazing that 99% of human beings don't even question it.
Mm.
I mean, hardly anyone. I mean, I don't want to make us special here, but we so are. Because most people don't ever question self at all.
Mm.
I can't ever bring this up with any of my friends because they just look, you know, because it's unquestioned. Self is unquestionable. It is the certainty. I'm certain.
Mm.
I am what I am. I mean, my way and I am what I am. How much does self love singing those at karaoke? Self loves to know who it is and have that certainty in this self-knowledge.
Karen has a.
Oh, Karen. Yes. Okay.
Mm.
Last question for Karen.
Yeah.
Hi, Karen.
You're muted, Karen.
Oh God. Okay.
Oh,
All
there you
right.
go. There you go.
Sorry
Hi,
about that. Hi. I just want to say that whole last, I mean, it's all wonderful, but that last 20 minutes, sort of starting with Dario's question, and Darren, I liked your answer in the chat as well. But Tim, when you said, and I had to write it down, I had to keep going back. I think you said, if the seeking stops, it won't be you who stops seeking. You ought to remember that one for yourself. That's a good one. Go ahead and post that on Facebook.
Okay.
And then all the stuff you said after that, I marked down. Oh my God, I have to go back and listen to this again. It's about at 1 hour, 48 minutes or 48 minutes, something like that. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you because there's just times I get in the group and it just is so wonderful. I just want to thank you for doing these. You know, I miss them when you don't do them, and I often have to catch them on YouTube afterwards. But I just want to thank you so much for doing them.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks very much.
Your joy doing them is also kind of catchy. You know, I mean, it's very apparent that you're happy doing this with all of us, and I just appreciate that. So that's all I really wanted to say. And thank you, Darren, as well.
Oh, thanks, Karen.
Yeah. Okay. Bye now.
Appreciate that. Thanks, Karen. And thanks, everyone. Thanks for coming. Lovely to see you all. Have a lovely week. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Darren.
You're welcome, Tim.
Thanks everybody for coming.
Cheers, Tim.
Cheers.
Thank you, Tim. Bye.
Bye.